Delegate James on the line.
Good morning, Chair James.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Ich bin so. Do we have a quorum? Do we have members on the line, staff?
Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Pro.
Yeah, I'm just calling from Twin Arrow. I'll be at the online. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, good morning. Yat Nana. Do we have United Health on the line?
Mr. Chair, we do have them in attendance in the conference room.
Okay, but do we have a quorum?
We have Mr. George Toth and Mr. Benito. Mr. Benito showed up in person, but he left the room shortly.
Okay, so with that, while we're waiting for a quorum, I believe the Women's Leadership Meeting is still in progress. So I know that we have Vice Chair Jermaine Simonson and Honorable Helena Nesbigay on that all meeting as well. So United Healthcare, since we do have three HEHSC committee members that are currently present, I will go ahead and give you the floor to provide and start your report. So if we have United Healthcare Managed Care Organization, Strombo's strategies, report A. I'll go ahead and give you the floor to start while we get a quorum in progress. The floor is yours.
Thank you, yeah, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Honorable members of the committee, Delegate Unito,
Good morning.
and others. Shea Claire Pratt and Shea Kia Ani and Shlim Bilagana Bashichin. I'm here today joined with Ms. Linda Atencio, who is the New Mexico Associate Director of Marketing for United Healthcare. I myself am with Strongbow Strategies. We are a government services and private sector firm, Navajo owned. We're based here in Gallup, New Mexico. We work with United Healthcare specifically on some of the initiatives that they have going forth in the state of New Mexico. Ms. Atencio is here to provide an update of what they are undertaking from the United Healthcare side. I know that we do have a presentation that's being brought up and that should be able to be shared via Zoom for members that are not able to be in attendance in person. And I guess if you want to let me know when that one's ready to go. Yeah. Okay, that should be up, Mr. Chair. Good. Good. Okay.
Good morning. My name's Linda Atencio. I'm with United Healthcare. And thank you, Chairman and delegates for accepting our request to present this morning. We are very happy to be here and hoping that we can collaborate with the Navajo Nation and the chapters throughout the Navajo Nation. Our initiatives, I'm not sure if the presentation is up yet.
It's up now.
Okay.
I'm sending it to them first.
Oh, he said she's sending it to them first.
Okay. All right. So we have some goals as far as collaboration, and basically, we United Healthcare have been in New Mexico. We have membership through our employer group programs. We have Medicare, and we are presently waiting for the Medicaid RFP so that we can submit a response to that. We have previously been a carrier and an MCO for the Medicaid population. And so in anticipation of becoming an MCO, we want to start discussions with the Navajo Nations. And our goal is to be able to establish what the needs are. So customarily, healthcare has always been, physical care, but we understand that there are social determinants of health that impact one's healthcare. And so not just in recognizing that, ailments, everything around us impacts us, whether it be food insecurities, whether it be, okay, whether it be food insecurities or it be other determinants that impact health. We want to be able to understand what the needs are and not assume, because I think when we come into healthcare, we assume, oh, here are the benefits, this is what we're going to take care of, but we really want to understand what the needs are. And we understand and recognize that the Navajo Nation is a vast area. And so the needs, the resources are they vary from segment to segment, from chapter to chapter. So what we're asking for is to schedule listening sessions with the chapter leaders to understand and be able to take this information and hopefully serve the population better, because we understand what the needs are. So in us doing this, we would come back to the council, present the findings, and then hopefully discuss and establish where United Healthcare can help and maybe even reimburse for services that are not traditionally covered in healthcare. And so basically, again, United Healthcare, we currently have a population of members in New Mexico, including in the Gallup area and borderline to Arizona. And then we also have Medicare, so we recognize the needs of our senior population as well. Some of those seniors are what we call dual members, so they have Medicare and Medicaid. And so our proposal will include coverage for those dual participants. We will be having individual coverage in New Mexico starting in January of 2024 on the healthcare exchange, where we customarily had not had coverage there. We will have it starting in January 2024. In addition to that, one of the things that we've been working on is the provider base. So really recognizing who the providers are and making sure that we are contracted with the statewide network of doctors, including having conversations with IHS. So we're in the process right now of, again, recognizing how the data that IHS collects, how that can help us in servicing our membership better, and understanding what really is. There's a lot of assumptions. Oh, there's diabetes, but then what else is there? So we don't want it to be everywhere I've been. We talk about diabetes, which we all understand is prevalent to our culture. And so we absolutely want to make sure that we're not limiting it. We want to use the data that's been collected in order to do that. We currently we partner with many entities. Some of the statewide community partners that we have, Roadrunner Food Bank, of course, to mitigate food insecurities, making sure that we provide resources to them so that they can provide resources to communities. The Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition, the Dual Coalition, Navajo Dual Coalition. There are 14 counties in New Mexico that have zero maternity care. Here in Gallup, and the hospital has stopped delivering babies. And so that's a big issue, because we have maternity, if you're 9 months pregnant and you have to drive 200, 300 miles to deliver a child, that just, we need some sort of safety net. So and I know that some of the folks right now are mostly going into grants, because grants is delivering babies, but we want to have support. So we really partnered with that doula association to help increase the number of doulas. And so we have provided some grant funds for them to put 22 doulas into the new curriculum, so that we can have more providers, at least some support for these mothers that are giving birth. In New Mexico, 67% of pregnant females do not receive prenatal care. And that's, that leads to us having children that are, being born with limitations or things that we need to deal with after they're born. So again, really want to support those needs in maternity. The listening sessions that we are asking for with the chapter leaders is, again, to gain knowledge. Who is the population? Are we servicing, children without food? Are we servicing an older population where maybe they need resources, home care, or they need they just need somebody to come in to assist with daily needs? So those the listening sessions will tell us, and we're able to establish the resources throughout the Navajo Nation. Transportation, we understand, is a huge barrier in getting to the doctor's office. So what can we do to help with that? There are some services that are covered for transportation in the Medicaid program. But again, we want to look past that. We want to look at what those limitations are, and can we provide those resources for the Navajo Nation and the members to get to that care. Proximity of accessing care, again, we recognize that, we sit here today in Window Rock, but, I've probably been, I'm born and raised in New Mexico, so I've had the opportunity to actually be in many of the Navajo Nation, out to Counselor, out to Huerfano. And so I understand, and I think that's what we bring to the table. Is I'm born and raised, I understand that lay of the land, and I'm not trying to assume that one size fits all. We really want to understand, what the need is here, but what's the need over there? Because the resources, the proximity that you have of driving into care or getting care at a local clinic is what we want to learn. We also want to be respectful and be able to use some of your community members, hire them to become either community health workers or community health representatives, because if you're in the community, you understand the community and you understand as things come up that those will be resources that they can request from us. And so again, member education is very important, what the benefits are. I think there's a miscommunication sometimes in that if they take a program, they might lose their IHS benefits. And we want to be able to be available to say, you know, you're not losing anything. It's just a compound of how the benefits are paid and sequentially how they're paid. So again, we would establish what we would reimburse for in those learning sessions. So presently, what we would do is, if you would allow us, and if you would partner with us and collaborate with us, we would like to have those start scheduling the listening sessions with the chapters. And then we would come back and we would present our findings to the delegates and then give you an overview of what our plan would be and how we could support those chapters with resources and also in whatever needs they have. We are not, we again value the cultural change, the cultural differences. So we also would incorporate, you know, the healings, the ceremonies. And so we value that because we understand a healthy person doesn't just happen with a pill. You know, give me a pill and that'll take care of you. As we know, and as we grew up, there's things that, you know, grandma did that is going to be paid by the health plan that actually supports the healing and the well-being of oneself. So that really is my presentation. We would, again, we respect the delegates and we would like to get your permission and then come back and set up a formal process for our collaboration, what reimbursement would be, and maybe you have ideas that we're not aware of. We'd like to individually meet with you if you would be available. So thank you again for allowing time. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much for the presentation. And so I appreciate that. And I will go ahead and ask for questions and comments. But right now we do have a quorum. And so with that, I'd like to move on with the agenda and then we'll come back to you. So with that, here, the Health Education Human Service Committee, the 25th Navajo Nation Council, regular meeting on June 21st at 10 a.m. And so with that, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order here at 10:21 a.m. With that, staff, roll call.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the Health Education Human Services Committee. Roll call for the regular meeting, June 21st, 2023 at 10 a.m. the Budget and Finance Conference Room. Honorable Helena Nesbegay.
Present online.
Honorable Vinsar James.
Delegate James present.
Honorable Andy Ness.
Good morning. I'm here. Thank you.
Honorable Jermaine Simonson.
Delegate Simonson is present.
Honorable George Toad.
I'm here, ma'am. I'm present.
Honorable Curtis Anito.
I'm here.
With that, Chair, you have 6 members present, which constitutes a quorum, including yourself.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson, for the roll call vote. With that, committee members, we did have invocation this morning, and so we'll go ahead and utilize that invocation. Moving on to the next item, which is announcements. Committee members, do we have any announcements? Going twice, 3 times, no announcements. Item number 2, recognize guests and visiting officials. Committee members, do we have any recognition guests and visiting officials? Going twice, 3 times. There is no one. So with that, I just want to say yat and then to all the individuals that are on the call, that are in person. Again, thank you for joining us here at our Health, Education, Human Service Committee of the 25th Navajo Nation Council meeting for today. So thank you very much, and I'll recognize each and we do have staff from Speaker's Office and then staff from Office of President and Vice President on the call, and different divisions under the Navajo Nation on the call as well. So thank you very much, and I recognize each and every one of you guys. Thank you. With that, moving on to item number 3, which is review and adopt the agenda. Staff.
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee, we have the proposed agenda for the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee 25th Navajo Nation Council, regular meeting, June 21st, 2023. Presiding the Honorable Vince R. James as chairperson, the Honorable Jermaine Simonson as vice chairperson. Place is the Budget and Finance conference room via telecommunications from the Rock Navajo Nation, Arizona. 1, call meeting to order. Indication announcements. 2, recognize guests and visiting officials. 3, review and adopt the agenda. 4, review and adopt the journals. None. 5, receiving reports. A is a report by United Healthcare Managed Care Organization, Strongbow Strategies. The issues are New Mexico Medicaid program, also the impact on Eastern Agency chapters and on Navajo Nation in New Mexico. Presenters are Linda Atencio, New Mexico Associate Director of Marketing, United Healthcare. Teresa Key, Project Manager of Strongbow Strategies. And Mr. Chair, we have Ms. Kerr Pratt, also of Strongbow Strategies. To the agenda, B is an update, the Johnson O'Malley program, and also the PNC Unified School District. The issues are staffing, the second is budget distribution. Presenters are Suzette Haskell, Program Manager 1, JOM, with Department of Education. Also is Claudia Edgewater, Interim Superintendent with Department of Education. 6, old business, none. 7, new business is legislation number 0134-23. Sponsor is Delegate Seth Damon. And the legislation has completed its 5-day comment period, which ended June 20th, 2023. 8, close the meeting, announcements and adjournment. Next regular meeting will be June 28th, 2023. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Legislative Advisor, Ms. Spinelli. Yeah, thank you for reading the agenda into the records for us. Committee members, do I have a motion?
I motion. Mr. Second.
Okay, motion made by Honorable Curtis Yanito, and then second by Honorable George Toth. Committee members, do we have any amendments to our agenda with corrections, deletions, or add-ons to our agenda today? Going twice. Committee members, any amendments? 3 times. With that, we do have a motion made by Honorable Curtis Yanito, second by Honorable George Toth. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to roll call vote to adopt our agenda. Honorable Helena Nansbigay. Voting to adopt the agenda.
I vote green. I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Dr. Nez, Honorable Vice Chair Jermaine Simonson,
Simonson votes green.
Honorable George Toll,
I vote green, sir. Thank you.
Honorable Curtis Unito.
I vote green.
With that, committee, we do have a vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, and chair not voting. We do have our adopted agenda before us. Going on to item number 4, review and adopt the journals. There is none. Item number 5, receiving report. A, report United Healthcare Managed Care Organization, Strongbow Strategies, issues, New Mexico Medicaid program impacts on Eastern Agency chapters on Navajo Nation in New Mexico. Presenters have presented their information while we were waiting for a quorum. Thank you to Ms. Linda Encito from New Mexico Associate Director of Marketing, United Healthcare, and Carissa Key, Program Manager, Strongbow Strategies, and then also Ms. Clara Pratt. So with that, committee members, I will coming back to this report for comments or questions in regards to the presentation that was provided to us while we were waiting for a quorum. Committee members, are there any comments, questions pertaining to the report that was provided to us by United Healthcare?
I have a question, sir. Chair.
Shikna Honorable Toll.
Thank you. HEHSC Chair and Vice and the members of HEHSC. Also the presenter. Appreciate for your presentation. I wish I was there in person, but I'm down here at Twin Arrow in regards to economic summer. So anyway, how many of this healthcare organization do we have in state of New Mexico? I know there's some in Arizona, Utah.
Right,
One
so
thing- let me finish, ma'am. I have other ones too. Anyway, I represent Baca, Casimir Lake, Little Water, White Horse Lake, Pintada, Pablo Pintada, Consular, Ojo Encino, and Torreon, Star Lake. So I guess there's a competition between these healthcare. They're running around the state of New Mexico and taking our people to the hospital. And I believe that you also stated that you provide transportation. And also, yes. Hello.
We hear you.
Anyway, you lost my thoughts here. Anyway, there's I believe you also stated that you provide transportation. How many of the vehicles do you have? The other one is home care. I was a chapter president back in 2021 up to 2022. Some of these elderlies are being transported to their appointment or to their healthcare facility. And I noticed the vehicles speeding. They have passengers, even kids. So how is the enforcement done? So those complaints, I know they have numbers on the side or in the back that we try to contact, no response. So what guarantee if my constituents to what guarantee do you have as an organization, as health provider, that that people will trust you to use your service? So those are some of the issues that I have. And a lot of these home care workers, Seems like they just abandoned their client and go to the next client. So this has to be controlled somehow and have the organization be accountable. So we can't abuse, so we don't have to abuse the elderly, because those complaints come in, usually comes to us even at the chapter house. So Ada, that's the only question I have. I hope you understand my my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Toth, for the question. So with that, I will go ahead and give the floor back to Ms. Linda Enciso to respond.
Okay. Committee member, Toth, very much I think I wrote down all the questions you have. So let's start with what chapters would be impacted. It would be the chapters on the New Mexico side, and then some bordering on Arizona, because we recognize that those members of those chapters also receive care in New Mexico. So those are the chapters that would be impacted and that we would want to schedule appointments with. As far as the transportation, so United Healthcare is currently not a managed care organization, an MCO for Medicaid in New Mexico. There is an RFP that will drop probably by the end of this month that we will be responding to in our attempt to become a Medicaid MCO for an effective date of July 1st, 2024. So United Healthcare was a Medicaid participant and an MCO through 2018. On 2018, there was an RFP that we were not successful with. So we have not covered Medicaid members for that 5-year period. But again, anticipate that we will be an MCO starting July 1st of 2024. Last year, in 2022, we submitted a response to New Mexico. There was supposed to be an award in January. There was the scoring, and there's been a little bit of media on it, and United Healthcare was one of the successful MCOs. Unfortunately, the RFP was canceled by the governor, and so we're having to redo the RFP again. Like I said, it will drop by the end of the month. So currently, we are not at this time providing transportation for any of the Medicaid members, because we're not an MCO, but what we're trying to do is learn where the needs are. And I fully respect and understand your concerns for the elderly and who we would use for transportation. So we don't own any a fleet of cars. We actually contract with vendors for providing the transportation benefit. And they do go through what we call a credentialing process. And we do have requirements. And we would very much take any concerns if you saw someone speeding around or not taking care of the elderly as they're supposed to while they're in their vehicles. So very much we share your concern in that. We want to make sure that when we're providing a service, that they're getting a service and not put at risk. Currently, for home care workers, again, we're not currently providing the service, but that's what we want to discover in these listening sessions. Who is the population that we would be serving, so that, maybe one chapter has, 100 members, and maybe there's one that has 20. We want to make sure that the right resources that we have those right resources for each of the chapters, because they vary in size and in proximity. There are some concerns recently for home care, or for there's been an issue where there's been some predatory rehab, individuals being picked up and taken into Arizona into rehab houses that maybe are not adequate. Again, we are not providing any type of transportation for that at this point, but we have the concern just as you have. United Healthcare has taken a stance in making sure that anytime we approve rehab services, we understand who the member is and where they are coming from, because we do hold an MCO contract on Medicaid access in Arizona. And so we are fully aware of that action and we're making sure that our members and members that come into the rehab, that we know where they're coming from and make sure that they are not in any way being harmed.
Thank you, Mr. Toth.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other question, committee members?
Chair James, this is Jermaine.
Vice Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair James and committee members for HEHSC. I know we're all busy with our work situations and tending to all the matters that in which we concerned our Navajo people and their health, education, human safety and such. So Kwado Nishinj Ketole, members of HEHSC committee, I have a lot of history and experience with Kwado Mr. Toth Yahatzi, the non-emergency medical transportation and those issues. You also are bringing up home care concerns. Those are things that, really back in 23rd, 24th Council, they created a regulatory and put it under NDOH. But we are having this situation with reapportionment plan and just how convoluted that is. Well, they did the same thing in terms of regulating non-emergency medical transport. And so it still needs something that needs a lot of attention. I'm just going to summarize that during the 24th Council, nobody consulted with the Navajo business owners. And so, and that needs to happen. We need to afford our business owners that opportunity and how we can advocate and then so that our people could get quality services, our people who utilize these services could receive quality, safe, services based in compassion and care. At some point, that's a separate discussion that needs to happen. And I would be happy to bring the people together for you to get that either work session or report happening. Kwede, Chair James.
Ms. Sencito, your response back. Thank you.
So we would welcome collaboration discussion on who those vendors are. We have diversity in who we contract. Again, we do put them through a process of credentialing, making sure that they have valid credentials. But we would collaborate with you in that process of determining who those vendors are. We currently have some vendors that are already contract because we do have commercial and Medicare business. But again, that's one of the things that I'm establishing in New Mexico is who is already here and then who could we potentially contract with, but would very much welcome a discussion and whatever guidelines you would like us to follow. If there are some guidelines that you want us that are either presently in place, or if you want to establish those, we would want to have those talks with you. Again, our whole goal here is to collaborate. We don't want to tell you how to do things. We want to collaborate so that sometimes I think what happens is vendors come in and they kind of do things the way they do it everywhere else. That is not our intent at all. Our intent is to come in, learn, and do things that actually are going to work and sustain, because what we want is continuity for the members so that, you know, they can have a vendor that actually, you know, does what they're supposed to, or a CH, you know, a home worker or whatever service we're providing. Our whole goal is to provide continuity and longevity of the service. So it's not an on and off kind of situation where, you know, oh, well, they're not available the month of June because of whatever. We want to make sure that we can sustain vendors and communities that, you know, things that work in the community.
Okay, thank you very much for the response. Committee members, are there any other questions, comments?
Chairman James, this is Meredith Thomas from Navajo Nation Washington office. I had one question, and that had to do with, I know there was reference to.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
This is a Health Education Human Service Committee member, so committee members are the only ones that are supposed to be asking questions.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I just need a clarification. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. So with that, committee members, are there any questions, comments?
Honorable Unito.
Honorable Unito, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the floor, and thanks for your presentation here, and everybody's here. And I just have a question on your New Mexico. I'm not from New Mexico, I'm from Utah.
Okay.
So, but one of my chapter borders with New Mexico, that would be HEHSC.
Okay.
And are you guys doing any business there and around that area? Maybe, I don't know if there's some school there. I mean, the health facility there. Are you aware of that?
We are. So actually, we had a meeting yesterday in establishing, so traditionally what's happened is New Mexico is unique in that they require all IHS facilities to be
Ms. Encito,
I'm sorry.
please wait until you are recognized. Honorable Unito, does that complete your comments, questions?
And one more, do you guys do like reports to the chapters too? And if that's the case, can you do a report to the HEHSC chapter? That'll be my only two questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Unito. With that, I'll go ahead and give you the floor back and Encito to respond to Honorable Unito.
Thank you, and I'm sorry. So we are establishing where the facilities, the IHS facilities are. So to your question about the 10 HEHSC, we will be establishing any of the chapters that seek care in New Mexico locations or bordering. So Utah, we can definitely, that can be in our scope. And so what we are doing, New Mexico Medicaid is unique in that they require us to pay all IHS facilities regardless of contracting. So IHS facilities do not have to go through a United Healthcare credentialing process. We consider them providers and they're loaded into our system. So any claims coming or any members that are that seek care in those facilities we would pay for those services regardless. Now, in this initiative, we would seek to meet with the chapter, and our goal is to report back to the chapters and to this committee any of our findings and any of the resources that we bring forth. So yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for the response back. Committee members, are there any other comments, questions, follow-up questions? in regards to the report that was provided to us by United Healthcare, going twice. Committee members? If not, I will call for a motion. Committee
Motion.
member,
Second,
motion made by Curtis Yanito and then second by Honorable George Toth. With that, I will go ahead and go to roll call vote. Honorable Helena Nesbigay,
I vote green.
Honorable Dr. Nez,
Good morning. I vote green.
Honorable Vice Chair Jermaine Simonson, votes green via text. Honorable Toth,
I vote green, sir.
Honorable Yanito.
I vote green.
Thank you. With that, we do have a vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, and chair not voting. With that, we do appreciate the report from United Healthcare. Thank you for providing us that information. Any other questions? We will go ahead and get in contact with you to provide those questions to you. So thank you. You are hereby excused from the Health Education Human Service Committee for today. Thank you. With that, moving on to item B, which is Johnson O'Malley Program, Kayenta Unified School District. Issues is staffing, budget distribution. Presenters are Suzetta Husky, Program Manager, JOM Doty, and Ms. Claudia Edgewater, Interim Superintendent of Doty. Ms. Husky or Ms. Edgewater, are you on the line?
Good morning, Chair. This is Ms. Edgewater, and Ms. Haskell is also here and chambers are here at the conference office as well.
Okay, so thank you. With that, we will provide you 20 minutes to provide your report. After the 20 minutes has been completed, we will call for a motion in a second, and we will to ask for questions and comments at that time. So with that, if there's no questions from the presenters in regards to the procedures of providing a report, we'll go ahead and start the 20 minutes as soon as you begin. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. So I'm gonna turn the floor over to Ms. Haskell, who is our Program Manager Director for Johnson O'Malley on behalf of the Department of Denied Education, and she'll provide your report. Thank you, sir.
Ja, det bin ich sehr haske Oberlin schlecht Ashton schlecht hat nicht so das Chin Piani das Chin do touching this man. I'm the program manager for the Navajo Nation JOM. There were a couple of specific items that I was told that were on the agenda. Staffing. Currently, the Kayenta Unified School District JWIM program is staffed by 4 individuals. They are partially funded by the JOM funding. There's a coordinator, Native Language and Culture Program Coordinator, administrative assistants, parent community cultural resource support, and cultural youth development specialist. Currently, the contract for this coming year, 2023, is school year 2023 to 2024 is right now in the review process. And the current program is for school year 22-23 is the current contract that's being utilized. Okay, we've met with, there were some concerns that came up at Kayenta Unified School District. And my program was notified on March 27th of the removal of the coordinator. At that time, my staff and I, the Navajo Nation JOM office, reached out to Keyenta Unified School District. We met with them on April 18th, April 21st, and May 17th. We also exchanged emails, phone calls in regards to the situation, and my office provided technical assistance. Currently, right now, the next steps is Navajo Nation JOM program will be providing training for the governing board. The governing board assumed the IEC role due to some conflict that was occurring, and that happened on May 10th. So right now, the IEC membership for Keyenta, the Unified School District, is not there, and we're going to help the Keyenta Unified School District reestablish their program. In the meantime, while the governing board is assuming the IEC role, we will be providing the training during the retreat, which will be scheduled either at their next governing board meeting on June 26th or July 12th. And we also are working with the Arizona Department of Education, and we will be providing a training on August 10th in Phoenix for their department to help develop some webinars, so that's going to be on their website as resources. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, so that is a brief overview of their report according to the agenda. If there is another inquiry aside from that, I would suggest or recommend executive session. Thank you, sir. And also, we also have Mr. Adson on the line as well. Thank you very much, representing Keyenta Unified School District. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. HEHSC and Ms. Edgewater, for that report. So with that does complete your report, correct, Ms. HEHSC and Ms. Edgewater?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so with that, committee members, I do have a motion to accept the report from Honorable Dr. Nez. Do we have a second?
Second, you need Joe.
A second made by Honorable Curtis Yanito. Committee members, since there's a lot of personnel questions, if there is a lot of personnel questions, I would ask that we go into executive session, but at this time, I will provide you some times if there's any comments or questions pertaining to the report that was just provided to us. Committee members? Questions, comments in regards to the report from JOM going twice?
Mr. Tolton.
Chair James, I have a question.
Honorable Toth, and then we'll go to Honorable Vice Chair Jermaine Simonson. Mr. Toth.
Thank you, sir. Also, thank you, members of HEHSC committee, although Department of Education, and also the coordinator for that JOM. Just wanted to know how long that, if we wanted to hear, what time limit do you expect us to, if we want to go into executive session in the district chair? If it takes for an hour, then it's best to have in-person meeting. That would be okay. If I don't know how the committee wants to handle this, so also.
Honorable Toth. With that, moving on to Honorable Vice Chair Jermaine Simonson.
Thank you, Chair James. I do agree with Mr. Toth. We have a lot of other reports coming from different schools. I know we've not addressed those things, so perhaps we schedule another time, an opportunity for executive session, because I think some of them do pertain to personnel. And there's a lot of, community folks as well as parents and other people that have concerns about their school administration, as well as school board. And somewhere there's a disconnect between how school boards are supposed to, sort of be disconnected from administration, but so there's just so many reports that we're getting, and I think we need to give them some time and attention. So I think we need to schedule a time where we can have these executive sessions. Thank you.
So with that, committee members, are there any other comments, questions? If there is none, I will go ahead and give the floor back to the presenters, Ms. HEHSC and Ms. Edgewater. And if you do think that we need to have executive session at another time and to schedule it, please let us know. So with that, presenters, the floor is yours for a response back to comments that were made by two of our committee members. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So with the information pertaining to one issue that we know is probably the main inquiry, that would probably take about only 10 minutes in executive session. Like I said, we do have Mr. Atson online as well, who can join us in that session. And then with the Honorable Jermaine Simonson's request too, we can also reschedule another follow-up for a longer executive session to take part on her concerns as well. So thank you, Honorable Chair.
Okay, thank you for that response. With that, Alit Alban, okay, so Honorable Toth and Honorable Vice Chair Jermaine Simonson, do you want to schedule another date and time to discuss all the other schools in executive session, or do you just want to go into executive session now pertaining to the one school that is on the agenda? Honorable Toth?
Thank you, Chair, members. Because we just can't have every other meeting, all these issues, we can do it in one time. So I would recommend like Vice Delegate. This morning, this is for the female meeting. Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Vice Chair Jermaine Simonson, your thought?
Yes, I concur. And we're actually trying to recruit our Che to be our security guard. So,
Okay, so with that, we'll have our staff work on that. In the meantime, by the end of the day, if you can, provide staff of the information that should be prepared for us for the executive session, that will be helpful for JOM to provide that information to us at that time. At the same time, Dodie, JOM, if you can also provide us some available dates, that would be very helpful, dates and times to schedule this executive session in regards to JOM and other schools, not just one school. So if we can exchange information that way, I think we can come to an agreement on a date and a time to meet sometimes in Wendouraq. So possibly at Dodie Auditorium. That would be the fastest way of finding a facility. And then committee members, for executive session, I would recommend that we do it all in person. Again, I would recommend and respectfully, kindly asking that we do this executive session all in person. So I believe there's no other questions, comments, but we do have the recommendation, and we'll just work together to find that date and time and for the in-person meeting. Location would be Department of the Net Education Auditorium. So with that, we do have a motion and a second on the floor to accept the report that was provided to us. If there's no other comments, questions, committee members, going twice, 3 times, I will call for a roll call vote. Honorable Dr. Nez. Honorable Helena Nez Begay.
I vote green.
Honorable Vice Chair Jermaine Simonson. Honorable Toth.
I vote green, sir.
Honorable Curtis Unito.
Honorable Unito votes in favor.
Honorable Dr. Nez. Voting to accept the report.
I vote
on
green.
Schedule M. Thank you. Honorable Vice Chair Jermaine Simonson.
I vote green.
Okay, with that, we do have 5 in favor and 0 opposed and chair not voting. And we will go ahead and find some dates and time to schedule our executive session meeting in person at Wonder Rock Department of Denied Education Auditorium. So with that, thank you very much, Ms. HEHSC and Ms. Water. Thank you for providing us that information, and you are hereby excused from Health Education Human Service Committee. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, is this, Stephanie? Okay, your realization is on that agenda, and it's up next. Okay, oh, you are, you didn't see you, okay, thank you. Okay, all right, great, thank you. Two, 6, 1, 7, 2. I'm sorry, 2, 8, 4. He's the last 4 digits, so 2, 0, 2. Oh, can I see you? I see you.
So with that, thank you very much. I apologize. I did not know I was on mute. So with that, going on to item number 6, old business, there is none. Item number 7, new business, legislation number 0134-23. Do we have the sponsor, Chanela Honorable Delegate Seth Damon, on the call or in person?
Morning, I'm here.
Thank you, Chanela Honorable Seth Damon, speaker. With that, I will go ahead and give the floor over to Vice Chair to take over the meeting. They are now beginning the Kitlichi Head Start promotion ceremony here at Kitlichi chapter. So I will be tending to that, but I will be listening in. Honorable Vice Chair, I give you the gavel and you can take over from here. So with that, Advisor, Ms. Spinelli, can you read legislation number 0134-23 into record? And I give the gavel over to Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. However, Vice Chair is not present in the BNF room, but however, Delegate Unito is present. He would be able to sign the committee report.
Okay, with that, I give the floor over to Honorable Curtis Unito to chair the meeting. Honorable Unito, the gavel's yours.
All right, thank you. Okay, I guess we're gonna go ahead and proceed with the number 7 on the agenda, new business. The legislation number 0134-23, sponsored by Delegate Seth Damon. Seth, are you online?
Yes, I am.
You got the floor. Oh, hold on. Staff, can you review briefly on the legislation?
Thank you, Mr. Chair Pro Tem and members of the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee. Before you is the proposed Navigation Council Resolution 25th Navigation Council first year 2023, introduced by Delegate Seth Damon as primary sponsor. Tracking number is 0134-23. An action relating to the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee, Budget and Finance Committee, Navigation Committee, and the Navigation Council, extending the CF-07-11 designation of savings from personnel accounts as restricted carryover funds to be used for administering and maintaining the classification and pay plans, extending the CF-07-11 moratorium on budget revisions and or reallocations using savings from the general fund personnel accounts, establishing the personnel savings fund. The legislation does move on to the Budget and Finance Committee. So legislation does have Exhibit 1, which is CF-07-11. And also Exhibit A is part of the previous resolution, as stated. Also, and then the legislation has gone through the completed the 5-day comment period. And there is a transmittal letter from the Office of Legislative Counsel to the sponsor. And also during the 5-day comment period, no comments were received. Mr. Chair Pro Tem?
Okay, thank you for commenting on the legislation here. Back to you, Seth Damon. Can you give us a brief report on your legislation here? You got the floor.
Motion first.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, motion by Mr. George Tull. Is there a second motion? To set the legislation 134-23.
Simonson, second.
Jermaine Simonson, second motion. Is there any question on the legislation number 0134-23 committee?
No question.
Mr. Toth has a question.
Okay, Mr. Tull.
I believe Mr. Honorable Seth Damon is supposed to do 20 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're waiting for before you ask any question. Seth?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me, Mr. Pro Tem?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great. Thank you very much. Good morning to the Health, Education, Human Services Committee. And thank you very much for allowing me to present before you this morning. Good morning to the staff and then also to everybody that's listening online. I'm bringing you to forth legislation 0134-23, and this legislation, once completed the task here at Health, Education, and Human Services Committee, goes on to BNF, then Navigation Committee, and then ultimately to the Navigation Council. This legislation is extending what was originally done back in 2011, and that was under resolution CF 07-11. And what that did was it established the personnel savings fund. And the personnel savings fund is all the dollars collectively that is budgeted annually, all the dollars from the general funds that are budgeted annually for personnel dollars that are not utilized throughout the remainder of the year and put into what they call the personnel savings fund. And those funds help assist at the end of the fiscal year. Well, actually, at the beginning of the fiscal year to budget for some of the shortfalls, help assist in the Navajo Nation's retirement trust fund, help assist in specifics. In the past couple of years, this has helped with the Navajo Nation veterans shortfalls. This has helped with shortfalls at Daltex. This has helped with a number of different shortfalls that come in, and is basically a fund that has really put forth on trying to identify some of the needs that are across the board that need to go ahead and be attended when creating the next fiscal year budget. We will get an estimated amount of what is in the personnel savings funds, usually towards the end of the third quarter. And that is something that the Navajo Nation Council has a consideration in and appropriating towards in the budgeted formulating process. And that discussion usually happens towards the end of August or early September before it goes to the Navajo Nation Council's final presentation in the overall formulated budget that the council finally approves. This is actually just reaffirming and reauthorizing the personnel savings fund. And due to the fact that there was a moratorium on budget revisions and reallocations, that was what the Navajo Nation Council had passed last year. And this is just making sure that if there's any questions in the future, that we can still consider to go forth and have a personnel savings fund from the unutilized personnel funds that are appropriated annually from the various different programs, departments, divisions that don't utilize their personnel funds that were allocated to them there in the regular general fund budget. So that's, again, this is just reaffirming and for administrative reasons, making sure that we can continue with the personnel savings funds. So again, thank you very much to the Health, Education, Human Services Committee. And that's my presentation this morning. Yeah.
Okay, committee, we have a motion on the floor in a second. Is there any question from the committee?
Mr. Tolt here.
All right, Mr. Toll, you got the floor.
Thank you, Pro Tem Chair, for chairing this meeting. Mr. Honorable Seth Damien, I'm glad you went over the question, the legislation. I do support, but I guess the question I had was to ensure that we don't run out of the funds for the program, especially personnel. So that's the reason why I wanted to. I guess it has to go through Nabagiati, and then final will be Navajo Nation. So if I have more question, I will ask at that time. So yeah, Mr. Damon, for presenting your legislation. So, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Response, Seth, Damon?
Thank you very much, Mr. Pro Tem Chair, and thank you very much, Honorable Tolls, for, I guess, the clarification. And if there's any possible future questions, I can go ahead and address those. And if there's any specific questions that you want me to address, I can have that ready at Nabagiati Committee. Thank you very much, Pro Tem Chair. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Any other question, members of HEHSC? Going once, Going twice, 3 times. Guess we can go ahead and call for a vote.
Roll call vote for legislation 0134-23. Honorable Helena Nesbegay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Dr. Andy Nez, how do you vote?
Vote green.
Honorable Vince R. James, how do you vote?
Delegate Jane votes green.
Honorable Jermaine Simonson, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable George Toth, how do you vote?
I vote green, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, Mr. Pro Temp Chair, you have 5 members in favor, 0 opposed, Pro Temp Chair not voting.
All right, thank you. Motion carries. Thank you, Seth, and congratulations.
Yeah,
All right, okay, let's go on to the next item. Close of meeting, announcement, adjournment, next meeting, travel. Is there any announcement before we adjourn? HEHSC committee?
Mr. Toth here.
Mr. Toll, you got the floor.
Thank you. I would like to have the Division of Aging from the to be on the agenda next time, will be next week. The reason for that is that I request Elderly Day on the Wednesday in July summer session. I want an update. Also, what's the real plan that we have, and our next meeting, so we can get an update and share that with the HEHSC committee also. Eben Yadison, Chair Pro Tem.
All right, they'll be noted. Any others? HEHSC committee? If there's none, let's go ahead and I need a motion to adjourn.
I move, sir.
Okay, George Toll. Motion, need a second?
Simonson, second.
Simonson, second. Okay, is there any question, comments, suggestions? Before we adjourn at 11:20? If there is none, let's call for a vote. Staff?
Roll call vote for adjournment at 11:28 a.m. Honorable Vince R. James, how do you vote?
Delegate Jane votes green.
Honorable Jermaine Simonson, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Helena Nesbegay, how do you vote?
Text screen.
Green via text. Honorable Dr. Andy Nez, how do you vote?
I vote green. Thank you.
Honorable George Toth, how do you vote?
I vote green, ma'am.
With that, Pro Tem Vice Chair, you have 5 in favor and Pro Tem Chair not voting.
Okay, thank you, HEHSC committee. Be safe out there. And have a nice day. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you. Have a good day.